What's going on, everyone? Train Freak here, and today we have train 61. This is the local coming out of Jonesboro, headed to Brinkley, and it is going to be led today with our cotton belt number 825. This is an EMD GP9, and it does have a Tsunami 2 sound, and it's a Proto 2000 type model. So we got our train coming into Weiner. And the first thing it's got to do is pick up these two boxcars sitting at Riceland that are full of grain. So some of these cars in our train has commodities and some of them are empty. And based on the blocking of the train further down the line in Brinkley, instead of putting these two boxcars at the front of the train, it actually requests that we put the two boxcars right between that Rock Island boxcar and the WCLX reefer car. So as our train pulls up, it's going to back in, and it's going to stop just shy of the boxcars just to make sure, one, that it's on the track, and two, that the knuckle on the coupler is open so that way it can couple. Alright, so now it has coupled onto the cars. It's going to pull up and it's going to reconnect back to the train, or the rest of the train, and make its way through the town of Weiner. Alright, so now we are coupled, and our train should be moving on out. Here we have a downtown view of the town of Weiner, watching train 61 roll through town. Now as our train is coming into the town of Hickory Ridge, it is having to stop before the turnout because it needs to cross over to the other track. However, there is an oncoming mixed manifest freight train, which is the Colton Block SSC freight. Now our locals are priority 3s, and the mixed manifest, which is now coming by now, is a priority 2, so that mixed manifest does have the higher priority. So once it gets by, then our local train number 61 will be able to continue forward. Alright, so now it looks like our locomotive has now been cleared to switch over from main number 1 to main number 2. And so it's going to go ahead and do so and go through the town of Hickory Ridge as it makes its way to Brinkley to break the rest of the train up. Now the reason why it is not doing any switch outs here in Hickory Ridge is because Hickory Ridge is northbound facing only. Not all towns were open-ended in their switching. So you would have to go on the town where the switch, where you would back in. So this is a downtown shot of Hickory Ridge, which is just mostly industrial. And there will be a road here eventually. And so as the train goes through, we've got the station right there to the right. And you can see the Shack-A-Sit Furniture Company in the far left. Alright, so now we're in the town of Brinkley. We got our train coming around the bend. And what it will end up doing is it's going to pull all the way forward and back into track number 4, which will be the far left track just to the right of that Morton Salt grain elevator. And the only thing that's going to go on that track will be the caboose. And then it's going to take specific cars in the train and cut them down into tracks 3, track 2, and track 1. Alright, so our train is almost backed in, but it's just going to back in far enough to drop the caboose off, so that way it's just out of the way. And there is a speed restriction in here, so that's why it's having to go slow, but that's typical for yard moves. Alright, so we dropped the caboose off. We're going to go ahead and pull up and just clear the turnout that goes into track 3, which is just to the right of where we put the caboose. And we're actually going to end up dropping off 3 cars. The 3 cars that we're going to be dropping off is SSW 50506, that's the very back car. It is a reefer that has produce in it. We're going to be also dropping off SSW 34981. It's a box car which has crates. And then we've also got WCLX number 2013. It is a reefer that has dressed cut meats in it. So now some of these cars that are being dropped off could potentially be re-picked back up by train number 62, which leaves Brinkley and then goes back to Jonesboro. Now, of course, it had to stop before it went all the way just to make sure that those previous cars on the track were not derailed, and also to make sure that that knuckle on the coupler was open. Alright, so now our train's just going to pull up far enough to clear the switch for track 2. And it's also going to drop off 3 cars. There is a empty Rock Island car, number 148753. It's just a 40-foot box car. And also those 2 box cars, the SSW 33748 and SP 10658 box cars that we picked up from Riceland that have grain in them. So we are going to drop those off on track 2. Alright, so same thing as before. We're going to stop, make sure that the other cars on the track are still on the track and not derailed, and to make sure that that knuckle on the coupler is open, and then we'll fully shove back and drop off those 3 cars that I just mentioned about. And then the last of the cars are all going to go on track 1. So our train's just going to pull up far enough to clear the switch, which this one in case happens to be a double slip. And that was designed to help compress, space. Basically, a double slip switch is like 2 turnouts, or 2 throat-to-throat turnouts overlapping each other. They're a little confusing to figure out at first, but once you get them figured out, how they operate, they come in very handy. Alright, so now we're going to start backing into track 1, and from the very back car to the one closest to the locomotive, what we have is a Missouri Pacific wood chip hopper. Of course, it's got wood chips in it, and that's a MP591110. We have 2 Rock Island 40-foot box cars, number 148589 and 148683. Both of those cars are empty. And then we have a MSC number 5012 box car that's got some crates in it. And then we have the ATSF or Santa Fe 15932. That is a 50-foot box car that is carrying pallets. And of course, like I said, there is the possibility that some of these cars could get picked back up and be put on train number 62, which we will not do today. Or when the Rock Island comes later, they might be picking some of these cars up and either taking them over to the industries in this town, or taking them back to Little Rock. So now that our locomotive is done dropping all the cars off, he's going to go ahead and go back over to track 4 and wait his orders. He should have another manifest that he will build, and it'll now be officially known as train number 62. And that's because all the southbound trains are, or the southbound local 61, and all the northbounds are 62. So while the locomotive is making its way back to the 4th track, I would like to thank all of my channel members and Patreons Your extended support really helps this channel. And then also, if you want to help this channel, you can even do it the free way, which is hitting that subscribe button, filling in the bell, and the thumbs up always helps. Now, with all that being said, I hope you have a great week. Be safe out there and happy railroading.